May 11th, 9:40 a.m. High Court of Khura'in. Accused lobby. I wasn't able to find any conclusive evidence yesterday. But if I can figure out Lady Kira's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe.
Nick, today well...
Don't look so down, Maya. I'm gonna defend you with everything I've got.
You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can.
As I said yesterday, I'm going to defend my client in court, Rafa.
Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused.
I never claimed to be a miracle maker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found.
The truth, you say? Then it seems you've chosen your fate. This shall be your very last trial. Nick.
I'm going to prove you innocent, Maya. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the Plumed Punisher, warrior of Neo-Twilight Realm to the folks back home, right?
Right. I may be a defendant this time. But I'll be by your side like always, Nick.
Thanks, Maya. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. May 11th, High Court of Khura'in. All rise. Let the trial of Maya Fey begin. The defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh? Quiet. Can't you see Prosecutor Satmati is absorbed in silent prayer? Great.
The trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me. He's very devout for a prosecutor.
Why is the accused standing over there?
Oh, well...
Your Majesty. In addition to being the accused, she is also my assistant. The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. The criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with a defiled soul.
That wasn't very nice.
Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seems to be a custom of sorts here in Khura'in. I must say, I am surprised to see you still here in Khura'in, Mr. Wright. And even more so to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial. The answer's simple, Your Majesty. I am a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now.
Such foolishness.
Prosecutor Satmati, are you ready to begin now?
Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay.
But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation. Splendid. I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Satmati.
Please save the victim's soul, Prosecutor Satmati.
Punish the wicked lawyer who dares to stop these last rites. I think I'll pass on that whole fire and brimstone deal. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance, considering what Apollo's told me about you. So it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guile within him. Putrid? What? He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives. Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya?
A little.
Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this in court.
Too bad I'm the defendant.
Don't worry, we haven't lost the case together yet.
You're right. Let's give this everything we've got, Nick.
Now then, Prosecutor Sadmati, would you please explain the case at hand?
Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest Tarustin Mi. He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain.
And the cause of death?
Let us review the victim's autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the Warbot dagger which was used in the rite. However, the weapon is yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched.
The sacred relic used as a tool of murder? The Holy Mother's wrath shall be most severe.
The murder itself took place at the height of the purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kira's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as a high priest of Khura'in. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey.
I must say, that does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused.
Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case. In Khura'inism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged to the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling. There she shall be tickled without end for 500 million years.
That is a terrible fate indeed. Would the defense care to respond? And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of Backman.
I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have that dagger or anything like it. As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But more importantly, she had no motive to kill the high priest in the first place.
Objection.
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be made clear by her benevolence, Refa Padma Khura'in's insights.
So it is, and so it shall be. The divination seance reveals the truth for all to see.
Here we go again.
Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess.
It's Princess Refa. Oh, how beautiful her benevolence looks again today. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day.
As popular as ever, I see.
Rest assured, good people of Khura'in, I will defeat this murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their freedom expressed today.
What a joy it is to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor. Dihara Khura'in!
She sure looks pleased with herself. Especially for someone who didn't know what a Freedom Express was until yesterday. Is there something stuck to my face, barbed head? No, nothing, your benevolence.
Now then, your benevolence, the divination seance, if you please.
Very well. Nana, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name. Let the eyes of everyone here be clear and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
So we actually see what happened to Tarustinmi as he died. The victim's Mitama has spoken. The divination seance is complete.
Great. Another clearly incriminating seance vision.
It could not be any clearer, O foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kira and then attacked the victim. Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kira lit against the dim lantern light, the scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One can almost sense the horror Abbot Immi must have felt. The facts as presented by her benevolence are indisputable.
But that wasn't me. Do something, Nick. I'm working on it. That couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm in for another uphill battle.
The accused committed this vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite.
Come to think of it, the Rites Guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. The transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kira. The rite of water. Lady Kira enters the spring and the high priest purifies her along with her dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul.
Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring. Therefore, the accused must have attacked him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Barbed Head, would you care to object?
Of course, because I know my client is innocent.
So you say. You truly do not know when you are beaten, do you?
I managed to pull it off last time with Alban. I'll just have to do it again.
You intend to find fault with her benevolence's insights yet again?
It would seem lawyers are polkunan creatures indeed. Look at that polkunkin! Polkunkan! Polkunkan! What exactly is a polkunan?
Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak.
They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth.
So, Barbed Head, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave.
Insight. Rafa's insight.
The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden robes. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life's blood spilled over, his vision dimmed till finally he passed from our world. That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments.
Inner sanctum diagram updated. Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kira, the accused rushed the victim head-on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer.
Yes, it is plain for all to see. No, it wasn't me! A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Kira's robes.
You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess's divine insight.
How did you end up finding contradictions last time?
The deceased's final memories include all 5 senses.
Oh, you mean those words that appeared in the pool of souls? It looked to me like the bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me too. The sensations themselves are never wrong, only their interpretations. That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Rafa's insights the last time.
So there could be contradictions between what happened and he felt in their insights, huh?
You got it, and I'm gonna find them this time too. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Rafa's insights? Let's check just in case. I can switch between insights with the left analog stick, while I look for inconsistencies between them and the sensations in the vision. Seance visions can be paused with the B button. I could even jump to different points in the seance vision, using A and Y. When I see an insight that doesn't seem right, I should select it. Then all I have to do is point out the sensation that contradicts with the insight. The sensations this time seem to fluctuate more than the ones from Olive's trial, in which case I'd better keep an eye on changes in their intensity too. So we need to choose Statement 3. He heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incest-laden robes. Okay. And stop. Right here. Footsteps. Upper right, hearing.
Objection!
Gotcha. The victim supposedly heard the accused's approaching footsteps. But did he really?
What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear?
No, it's not. Because there is something strange about those footsteps.
Strange? Explain yourself, Barbed Head.
The footsteps are strange because they don't get louder. The sound is consistent. They're not getting any louder. And why exactly does that matter? Please focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of incense grew stronger. Ah! Why, that makes perfect sense. How can this be explained, your benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason.
Objection. It is as they say. Even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean?
He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure.
Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyerly source. Your benevolence, perhaps you must listen more carefully to the abbot's mitama. Listen more carefully? What's he talking about?
Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation.
Refine the sensation!
I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with a mitama.
I didn't know you could do that. Why have we never done this before? By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered.
Oh, blessed mitama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call.
Footsteps changed into bells? What could this mean? Bells. But the only bells at the scene of the crime were...
Ah, that jingling must have come from Abbot Emmy's bells.
You mean those big things he had on his ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells was from the high priest's own footsteps.
Then that means...
If the footsteps belong to the victim himself, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who ran running toward the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence's insight would have us believe. Inner sanctum diagram updated. But why would the victim have approached the accused? Maybe he was trying to defend himself. Please explain. He could have felt threatened by Lady Kira standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked.
Still your voices! This is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that! Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation.
Objection! Or is it postulation? While his insolence is inexcusable, I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence.
Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sadmati?
Even if it was Abbot Enmi who moved, it does not negate the accused's crime. What do you mean? The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach.
Ah!
And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that. Oh, right. Really doesn't change much, does it?
Yes, it is as the prosecutor has said. In fact, it is as I meant to say all along as well.
Right. And that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it.
Understand now, lawyer. That contradiction you conjured up has come to naught. Once I hold my insights, it'll vanish like the dying rays of the sun.
Insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. As his lifeblood spilled over, his vision dimmed till finally he passed.
See? The fact that it was Abbot Enmi who moved changes nothing.
Ugh. Come on, Phoenix, you gotta keep your cool. That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Raifa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. Like before, true statement 3. Nope, not yet. Gotcha! Yep, something was off, and it's the Warner sound!
Objection!
Hold it! How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be?
That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abbott and me would have adhered to them.
Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain just what is so strange?
Yes, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. The sound of bells changes to the sound of water at one point.
What's this?
It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water.
Oh.
Yes, and the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction.
What contradiction?
I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring, and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know that the victim then moved into the spring.
Pokunka! That is absurd!
This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence's insight indicates. Ah!
Then where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kira's robes?
Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing right here. In the fountain.
Take that!
Until this moment, we've all just assumed that Abbott and me and Miss Fey were standing where they were supposed to be, as shown in the right sky. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Fey had actually been standing in the water.
But if this is true, then their positions would have been completely reversed.
Inner sanctum diagram updated. Again.
What is going on here, Miss Fey? Were you really standing in the spring?
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the rite.
The high priest would never make such an obvious blunder during a rite. What on earth? Is that even possible?
That's enough.
Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights.
It doesn't?
Let us say the accused was standing in the spring.
So what? So what? This completely reverses their positions is what?
That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change?
It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime. I guess you have a point there.
You lawyers are an absurd breed. Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster.
Urgh.
Sounds like Princess Rafa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about.
Oh, Maya. Where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere?
I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth.
Insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern.
Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Ugh.
Nick!
Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence's insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction. Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack that putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it. Maya, please tell me you remember something that might help us out here.
Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights.
That's right. We now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram of the court record and confirm where Maya and Abbot Imby were standing, and then focus on finding any discrepancies between their positions and their insights. Okay, like before, Statement 3. Right here. Yep, that has to be it.
Objection!
Your benevolence! I found a new contradiction!
You did?
No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights. Nope. Take a good look at what the victim saw. It just might change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering.
There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind has stirred.
No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue.
I fail to see your point.
My point is something's wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flame should have been flickering in the wind in the first place.
She seems pretty tickled, Nick.
I don't remember saying anything funny.
I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. O blessed Mitama, I beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there.
Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it.
And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering.
Say what? When we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on. That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Defense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation. That would never fly back home.
Well, Barbed Head, are you done quibbling? If so, then it is time to bow down before this testimony of the Mitama. Nick!
Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kira's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priestess thought to have been moving toward her, so I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this arrangement. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Which means I choose Statement 3. Again. Wait a second. Wait a minute. Hold it. Yeah, I always knew that something was up. Oh, wait, no. Gotcha. There. That's what I know.
Objection!
What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building. Are you all right, Mr. Wright? 1 minute you shout out and the next you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Sarmati?
Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you built so far,
The only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found.
Is that so?
The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight.
Does it now?
One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what Abedimi saw in his final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in this seance vision.
How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights?
Let me start by saying the claim I'm about to raise will overturn this case I've built thus far. Will the defense please explain himself? Based on the broken lantern, we can tell regarding Maya and Abedimi's positions, where the accused and the victim were standing. But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else? I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing. Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing. Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Where else? In the entrance to the sanctuary. Right here.
Take that!
I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom.
Does that not bring us back to the very beginning?
No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused.
What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision.
Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed until now. No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big? There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in that moment.
Objection!
If it is as the defense asserts, then her benevolence's insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that?
Objection!
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sadmati. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error.
Such insolence!
A huge error, you say? Do explain. The huge error is the number of people there. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed.
This cannot be!
Oh, but it can. And it is. The insight stating the accused stabbing the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Pull! 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 Pull the cork! Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood? The voice of the Mitama, yet again? This cannot be.
Phew! That was a close one. But I managed to divine the true meaning behind the Seon's vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record. Inner Sanctum diagram updated again. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brass accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer.
Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Satmati? My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I have learned to perform last rites for souls and trials lacking a seance. Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry. Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all most magnificent last rites ever seen. I guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who solves tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh? Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third-party dresses Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course.
This third party must have really wanted to kill the high priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of their murderous intent. Oh? We're waiting, Mr. Wright. The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. Lady Kira's warning.
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual. He did? Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. Peace! I don't understand. I had heard the Lady Kira that has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the high priest? Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the high priest had secretly been a rebel? The high priest? He couldn't possibly have been a rebel. The high priest? A devout follower of Khura'ism, a rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you? I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible.
Objection!
The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kira, and the high priest was a rebel? Your mockery of Khura'ism, no. Of the kingdom of Khura'in itself knows no bounds. Whoops! That shameless punk-cunning lawyer is making a mockery of our religion. As a faithful Khura'inist, I take issue with these claims.
and I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings. I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother.
Is it really that big of a deal, Maya?
Abbot Inmi was a distinguished monk, and very well respected too, so yeah.
Ugh. Please don't let this turn into an international incident.
But fear not, good people of Khura'in, the rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged.
But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How was that possible when he had his back turned toward Miss Fey? Someone else must have killed him.
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is as yet still in my hands.
How can he be so confident?
Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts.
An eyewitness?
Very well. Let us call this eyewitness to the stand.